please like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Hey now, it's your girl ChonitaNicole, and welcome to Do Dream On if you're new, and if you already a dreamer, welcome back, y'all. Welcome back, welcome back, y'all. Welcome back. Okay, today it is all things party favors, okay? I will be going over how I designed all of these party favors, the water label bottles, the Rice Krispie Treats, the chip bags, the chocolate bars, in Canva, and then I will be showing you how I actually put them together. So this is a long video, but please don't skip around because I'll be giving so many tips and tricks in the meantime, in between time, and I'll be explaining so many things. So you don't want to skip around. You do want to watch the whole video because I'm giving all the details in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Oh, once again, I am about to show you guys, all right, how I made these chip bags, how I made these water bottle labels, the Rice Krispie Treats, as well as the chocolate bars. Okay, so I'm going to show you step by step how I created these designs inside of Canva, how I went ahead and measured them and got them together, and then how I'm actually putting these all together. I am going to be doing 40 chip bags, 40 water bottle labels, 40 Rice Krispie Treats, and 40 chocolate bars. It is about to be a long night for me. Okay, well, it was a long night for me. I already did it. So I'm going to be showing you the first time that I did these. I do want to show you this is the design I used, but I gave them options. This was option B. This was option C. And they decided to go with option A, of course. Okay, so I'm going to just show you how I made this inside of Canva, and then how I resized and played around with it to make the other options. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So let's start with what I first started with. It was the background. So we're going to go up here and we're going to go to photos, and I'm going to search stream flowing water. I can't remember the exact thing that I searched in the beginning, but we're gonna find it, and boom, there it is. Okay, so I found the background I wanted to use, and I'm right clicking and I'm setting it as background. Okay, they provided me with the photo that they had, so I'm gonna go to uploads, and then they provided me with this photo here. Okay, so what I wanted to do with this photo is I went to edit image and I removed the background because I wasn't going to find anything that matched perfectly with that. I already knew it. So I removed that background, and then I went ahead, selected apply. Now I had the background removed. Now, the next thing I did was I went to elements and I searched happy birthday. Okay, so then I found this one, and I had to make sure I could change the color. So that's something you want to make sure of. So I could. So I wanted this to be black so it could be deeper. And then I changed the color to this orange. All right. So I thought that was cool, but it was nothing that said happy third birthday. So I was like, what can I do? I went to text. I like this boo right here. So I made this into the third. I went to effects. I changed the color of the shadow to black so it can pop out like that. I made it a little bit smaller, and then I went back to effects and I changed the transparency so it can be full. Okay, I didn't want it to, and I needed no blur. All right, so I went there, and then I decided to change the color to the color that matched that. And then I went and duplicated it, and then I put his name. So Drew is turning 3, but I needed it to go this way. Okay, so birthday is in the middle. Oh, and just so you know, let me rewind. This is an 11 by 8.5 page because I knew I was going to be using that size for this image. Okay, so I knew from doing the chip bags before I was using the entire paper. So I did 11 by 8.5. Okay, So then now I'm going to go ahead, put this third right here so it can fit inside of there. Happy third birthday. And then for this, it looks like he's just coming out of something. He's cut off. So I said, what could I do? Think, think, think. So I went to yellow circle. Okay. And then I tried to find something that wouldn't overshadow, but that could go smooth. And this one had the yellow and the orange. Okay. So I went ahead and grabbed that. Is that the same one? Yep. That's the same one. I made sure that it was larger and then I put it backwards. Okay. So I knew I was going to have it looking like he was coming out of that. And then I put Drew right here. So it could be happy third birthday, Drew. Okay. I'm going to go to effects and I made the direction of the offset larger. And I did that for both of them. There we go. Now that looks more like it. Okay. So I did that so we could see happy third birthday, Drew. I went ahead and I grouped this and then I grouped these images so that I can move them all around. Okay. So this is in the middle of the photo. So now I knew I needed some nutrition facts and I needed a thank you. And so what I did was I went to create a Fabrica. Okay, and I actually searched birthday boy nutrition. Okay, and then this is what came up. So yes, I do have a Creative Fabrica link down. It will be down in the description. I am an affiliate with them. So yes, y'all use my links down below. But I did go ahead and search and I got this one. Okay, this one is actually a birthday boy nutrition facts SVG. And with the SVG, we can change the colors and everything. So I absolutely love it. So I did go ahead and download this. I don't think I'm signed in because why is it saying activate free trial? But anywho, okay, sorry about that. Now I am signed in. Anywho, it's the birthday boy nutrition facts SVG file. With the SVG file, I can change the color. So I did go ahead and download that. Okay, and since I had that, I knew I could change the color because of that square up there. So I did go ahead and change the color. You couldn't see it, right? So I went ahead and grabbed me a square. I changed the square's color to black. And then I just put the nutrition in front of the square. All right. So because I did this chip bag before, if you want to know all of the measurements, you guys watch my first video because I made sure I went over that in the first video. But what we're doing is we're setting this up for a chip bag. Okay. I selected both of those and then I grouped them so they would be all together. I did want a barcode. So you could either search here. Okay, so I went ahead and searched barcode and I just grabbed this barcode here. I changed the colors again. All right, I went and grabbed me a square again. Change that to black. I positioned that backward. Then I grabbed some text and I put we love. I move the font over here, duplicate it, put Drew, made sure everything was aligned, made the size a little bigger so you could see it. Okay, once I had that, I selected all, grouped it, made it smaller. So what I did was, on a regular piece of paper, I made sure that the sizes, when I bent everything, that these would be the correct sizes to actually fit in the front of the chip bag, on the sides of the chip bag. I wanted to make sure everything was the correct size. So what I did was I measured the front of the actual chip bags, and I wanted to make sure that I can have the sizes that I wanted it to be. Okay. Once I did that, I knew what size would fit, and you can print it out to make sure that the sizing is good as well. That always works. Once you get it how you like, you can print it out on a regular copy paper, and then you can see what looks good and make sure that when you're folding it, you don't cover up things and things aren't too big or too small, etc. So I went and grabbed me a square, and I made that square black. So I went to text, and then I put thank you all for celebrating Drew's 3rd birthday. All right. I made sure the font was larger for coming to celebrate Drew's 3rd birthday. I put that inside of there. I went to make the line space in a little bit closer. I went to effects, added a shadow so it can kind of come out a little bit. Okay. And there we go. All right. So now that I had that, I made it just a little bit smaller so that it can fit. And voila, magic. That's literally how I did it. I made sure I measured the size. I printed a test sheet of paper out to make sure everything would be in the middle. Everything would be on the sides, and I would have enough to fold this over. So you do want to make sure that everything works out so that you can fold that over. Okay. When you're designing, you have to think about the end product, that you have enough space on the edges, that things are centered down the middle, things are correct on the side, etc. Once I had this, I used this same template for everything. I literally just went and changed the sizing. So let me show you that. Okay, so now that we have this design, what I did to make the water bottle labels was I measured the water bottles around, and just like I did on the previous video, and then what I did was I went ahead and then what I did was I started from a blank page. This is 8.25 by 1.5 inches, okay? 8.25 in width by 1.5 inches in height for the water bottle labels, all right? This was actually a different water bottle than I did before, so you always measure. Once I did that, you know what I did? I went to my elements, I went to see all, and then I grabbed this, I right click, I set that as a background. Once I had that as my background, I moved it, I double clicked it, and then I moved it around because then I want the yellow part, then I want the water, then I want the middle. I decided to go with kind of this bridge right here. So that's how I found out which space I wanted to use for the background. Once I did that, I literally went to my chip bag and I went and I copied everything. Command C because I'm on a Mac. And I went here and I Command V. And everything came up here. Now, things that weren't already grouped, I had to make sure that I grouped them or made sure that they were selected. And then what I did was I just made it larger. I knew that it would be, and I know you guys see it's a different font, but that's okay. But I made it a little bit larger, okay, so that it can fit. And then I took the image, made that a little bit larger. And then I took the words and made it a little bit larger. So once I did that, I actually selected these two together and then I grouped them. And I did that so that I can make sure it was in the middle. So you know those magenta lines, make sure things are in the middle. So bam, I made sure that everything was lined up in the middle. And then if I wanted to, I could simply ungroup them. And I wanted to make the happy birthday a little bit bigger. Okay, just want to make things, if I wanted to make anything a little bit bigger, then I could. Then I could just group them back and then make sure everything's in the center. Okay, I decided to delete this. We didn't need this on the water bottle, but I did want the birthday boy. Once again, I made sure I had enough space to wrap around the water bottle. So bam, that's how I made the same design to use the water bottle labels. Easy peasy. Now I went to the Rice Krispie Treats. The Rice Krispies were a little bit different because I had to put 2 images on the 8.5 by 11 paper, and I had to make sure that it was landscape. So what I did was I took the chip bag and then I went to file and I made a copy of it. Okay, once I made a copy, I deleted what I wasn't going to use. And then I knew I didn't need that. And I didn't need the birthday facts. So for the Rice Krispie Treats, I knew they had to be 5.3 by 6 inches. Okay, so I made this 5.3 by 6 inches and then I just resized it. Once I resized it, I knew that I was going to be wrapping the Rice Krispie treat over around it. So I took this image and then I flipped it, okay, 180 degrees, because I knew the barcode, once I flipped the paper, would have to be this way. And this just comes with practice when you guys figure this out. So I did notice with the Rice Krispie Treats that this would have to be smaller because remember, this is a different size image. I knew the front image is about 2 inches. So what I did was I made sure that these are grouped and then I made sure that it was about 1.9 in height and 1.2 in width, and I made sure using the magenta lines this would be in the middle of the Rice Krispie treat. Now I knew I would be wrapping these around the Rice Krispie treats, so I wanted to make sure that it was enough space for me to put the glue and wrap it around on the edges. So I put this image here, and then honestly I had to print it out maybe twice to get the right sizing for the barcode as well as for this image right here. And then I ended up going really good with like the 1.1 and 0.7. Okay, so some of these things you will have to print out to make sure that it's how you like it. So I think it was this one. So you have to play around with it, but because I didn't use a template, and I might make you guys one, I was just figuring all of these out on the whim by myself. Okay, so once I made this size 5.3 by 6 inches, so I downloaded this as a PNG and then I uploaded it onto an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper landscape. This is its own image. You see that? I made sure that I put it all the way to the edge, so when I'm cutting it out, I don't have to cut 4 corners. I can just cut out 3 out, and I was able to put 2 to an 8.5 by 11 landscape paper. Okay, so that's how I did the Rice Krispie treats. Downloaded it. It worked out fine. Okay. Now we're going to go to the chocolate bars. Okay guys, how I designed the chocolate bars, I made these images 6.75 inches by 5.4 inches, okay? And remember, you have to measure everything. So I did not use any templates. I measured it and then I played with these things myself. So what I did here was I went back to my elements, my recently used, right click, I set it as my background, and then I went back to my chip bag, literally just Command C, I copied everything, Command V, I pasted everything, and because this is a different size, I knew I would have to play around with it, so I deleted that. I did not want that. I did take this one again and then I flipped it around, scooted that over. I did put those down. I flipped this over as well. And then I made it a little bit smaller. And what I did was I measured, when I printed it out, I measured the size that would be on the back flip side of the actual chocolate bar. Okay. I made sure that these sizes would fit on that back portion. And I knew that I would actually be folding it over the bottom part, so I could put this closer to the edge because I knew this would be on top of the Hershey bar. I hope that makes sense. And then of course I measured the front of the Hershey bar. And I knew the height was about 2 inches. So I made this 1.9. And then I made sure that this will be going over the front part of the Hershey bar, the chocolate bar where it says Hershey. So I went ahead, selected everything, grouped it, made sure it was once again in the middle. Okay. And I knew that with everything being in the middle, that portion would be the visible part where it says Hershey. It will now say happy 3rd birthday, Drew, with the photo. So there's going to be a lot of measuring if you're not using templates, but a lot of measuring that you can do so you can play around to get the right sizings. Okay. And then I just made sure this was enough. And then I just made sure these were over enough. You see those magenta lines, so that if I did crinkle or cut the edges, that I would have enough space. And I knew to put it upside down because I knew I was going to be wrapping this image around my Hershey's bar. I hope that made sense. Okay. So now we have all of the water labels, the chip bags, the Rice Krispie Treats, as well as the chocolate bars. Now we can download all of these images as PNGs and we can print them out. Okay, so for my printer, I'm using my HP OfficeJet 9015 printer. I literally just went to print and then I had to do a preset. So you are going to have to play around with your printer and your paper to see what works good for you. So my preset was US letter borderless 8.5 by 11. Okay. I made sure that was for my chip bags. And then I made sure I printed the entire image on that page. Okay. Then for my medium quality, I was using photo glossy paper, and that's best. That's my chip bag preset. All right. So that's what I use. For my Rice Krispies, I had to use plain paper, best, US borderless 8.5 by 11, because I was using that hammer mill paper. So the photo glossy paper did not look right on the hammer mill paper. So you're going to have to play with your printer, your paper, and your settings to see what looks good for you. But this is what I use specifically for my chip bags and for my Rice Krispie Treats. I use the same setting for chip bags for my Hershey bars, and I use the same settings for my chip bags for my water bottles, but I had an issue with the water bottles and the paper that I use, and I'm going to talk about that later. Okay, so those are how I designed it, my print settings and everything. So now let's put this all together. Okay, y'all, let's get to work. I will be doing all of these water bottles, and you guys saw a video hopefully that I did of water bottles before. I will be using my Koala Inkjet glossy photo paper. However, I had some trouble with that paper and I'll talk about it later. Okay, really huge trouble. So for the chip bags as well as the Rice Krispie Treats, I will be using another paper. Okay, so this is what I got, the Rice Krispies and the chips. This is what I'll be wrapping up. Okay, so let's go back to the water bottles. I did print it out on my koala glossy photo paper, and it was perfect. As you guys see, it looks really good. Everything came out just like how my other water bottles did in the previous video. So this turned out great. It looks amazing. Okay, so I won't go into too much detail because I have an entire video on the water bottles, but I will show you how I wrap these water bottles. So I did just take my paper and I wrapped it around. It went around really easily, just like in the previous video. And then I'm going to take my crafter's tape. Y'all know I love this crafter's tape. It's absolutely amazing. I make sure that I'm putting it only on the part that I actually need it to be on. That's very important, in the grooves of the water bottle. Then I just pull it over and I pull it really tight and I press it down so that it can stay. All right, let's go ahead and do these chip bags. I'm super excited. My good old crafter's tape. I love it. Y'all know it. So we're going to go ahead and switch up our paper, okay? I'm going to be using this professional business paper from HP. All right, I had to use this paper because let me show you what happened with my other paper, and it completely broke my heart. I don't know what happened. If you guys saw my previous video, you guys saw that I used my koala for the chip bags for my daughter. It did not work out this time, but look how great this paper looks here. So I'm going to show you what the koala paper looked like, and maybe this is what some of you guys were talking about. Remember when you guys said you couldn't use the koala paper and I didn't have those problems? Well, guess what? I ended up getting those problems, and sometimes that's what happens with crafting. Okay, something can go well one time and then the next time it may not go well. So let me go ahead and show you how it messed up and what it actually looked like. Okay, that looks great. And then this, look at this, y'all. What in the world? The colors were off, and then when it did do it right, look, it scratched. So when I flipped it over, it was scratching. So I tried a bunch of different settings. Look, those colors look off, but that looks scary. I literally want to cry. So I had to grab that paper. Luckily I had already had that paper, but then I had to leave out to go and buy some more. And then it wasn't at the store. So then I had to order it from Amazon. Y'all, it was a struggle bust. But look how horrible that looks. Anywho, luckily we were able to print it out on my HP 9015 printer with the HP business paper. And look how good that looks, y'all. This looks amazing. And I'm showing you that paper again because that paper literally saved the day. I was having a whole meltdown. Y'all can ask my mama, okay? But look how great that looks. It turned out really amazing. And honestly, I like it better than the koala paper. So surprise. So sometimes things that turn out bad can end up working out in your favor because that looks absolutely amazing and better than before. You guys, do you see how good this looks? The quality of this paper. Oh my goodness. Do y'all see this? Oh, this is the bomb. And it's heavier. We're going to flip it over. We're going to take the chip bag. Place it. Actually, first, we're going to take our crafter's tape. We're going to go along the top. We're going to go, and actually I found a better way. You do not have to go along the bottom, and you can put the chip bag in the inside. I think I'm going to show you that way as well. You guys know I'm always talking about is multiple ways to skin a cat. So I'll just show you several ways that you can do this. And we're going to go along the side. Okay. We're going to place the chip bag in the middle. We're going to bring the side over that does not have the tape on there. Then we're going to bring the side over that does have the tape. Okay. We're going to line it up and press it down. Okay. Once we do that, we're going to take the bottom. You can take the bottom or the top. It's 100% up to you. Press it. You could do it from the front if you want, so you can see how it'll look in the front. Press it down. And then if you have some that overlaps, that's why I should have did it from the front. Very simple. Just cut it off. Okay. Anything that doesn't look right, cut it off. And voila, this is thicker, so I'm not crinkling this paper because it's the thicker paper. So we just cut it, and that's how we do the chip bag. Okay. This looks so good. Oh, there's more in the back we could cut. With cutting, be mindful that you're not cutting all the glue off. So make sure there's a nice thick amount of glue because you don't want to cut it off and then they open up, okay? So be very careful. And I apologize, I was out of the frame. I honestly did not know, but I'm literally just cutting off any white portions, making sure that it's all neat, it's all straight. And like I said, because this paper was too thick, I didn't crinkle it because the crinkling sometimes messes up the ink. Okay, so you have to know your paper. And that's how we do it. Okay, and now you can put more glue on there if you want. I'm going to put a little bit more glue on this part because the part buckles right there. Okay, so I will be speeding this portion up, but with anything, practice makes perfect. So I actually got me in a little groove of these and they came out really, really good. Sometimes I didn't even have to cut any of the white portions off because they actually came out perfect. So with anything, the more that you do, the better you'll get, and you'll find little tips and tricks that will work for you. Okay. So I absolutely love this paper. I loved how these turned out, the gloss, the look, everything about it was absolutely amazing. Okay, so with anything, sometimes you need more. I had to go and grab some more tape, y'all. This stuff is expensive. People don't understand how expensive crafting is. Anywho, I was done. I was finished. Look at the chips. And what I did was I went ahead and started packing them up in the box so that I could move on. So we already did the water bottles. Those came out great, even though that was that koala paper. And you could even see the color looks a little bit different, even though it was a higher portion of the photo. The color looks a little bit different. I love the HP paper better. I'm sorry. I do. I just have to keep it real with y'all. Y'all know I do. So these are the water bottles. They still look great and they turned out great for what they were supposed to do, but my preference would be that HP paper. So let's go ahead and get to our Rice Krispie Treats. This is the Hammer Mill Premium Color Copy Cover paper that I actually use for the Rice Krispie Treats, and it is found on my Amazon storefront. Okay, so you can find that link down below in the description. And I absolutely love this paper. I use it for my covers for my planner, so this actually worked out great. I love this paper. So let's keep it moving. We are going to be doing our Rice Krispie Treats. So this is me cutting the paper for the Rice Krispie Treats. I'm using this cutter, paper cutter. My daddy gave it to me. It was my mom and my dad's. And y'all know I love my mama, but she wasn't trying to let me have it. My daddy was like, go here, girl. So I got it. Anywho, this is the Rice Krispie Treats. So you guys know what the measurements are from the Rice Krispie Treats. Hopefully you didn't skip around too much, because if you did, you're going to have to go back so you can make sure that you know what these sizes are and how I was able to get them both on the paper using Canva. Okay, so I am literally just going ahead, making sure that everything is cut out, trying to get as less white from the paper on here. If somehow it does get on there, I do just use my scissors and cut it off. Now this is my first time ever doing a Rice Krispie treat, so I needed to measure and make sure that it could actually fit with the measurements that I created. I did not use any templates or anything for any of these projects. I personally just measured everything, and then once I measured everything, I figured out what the height and the width would be. Okay, later on I actually may provide templates. I may sell them or something, but I just measured it out myself. So let's see. This look like it's looking good, y'all, at my first time. Okay, y'all, so it looks perfect. It looks perfect in the middle. around. I mean, if I wanted to make it bigger, but that doesn't even matter. That looks good enough just like that. Okay? And I got a little wiggle room just in case. And now we're going to make sure everything is glued in. Okay? So now I got to figure out how I'm going to glue it. I think I'm going to take it up here first. And then I think I'm going to glue I think that's how we do it. We're about to see. All right. All right. Now I can buy the scissors, but right now, there we go. Y'all don't understand how happy I am right now. Okay. Let's do it again. So let's just go ahead and glue this paper. Okay, I'm going to take that crafter's tape and I'm just gluing around the edges. I later found out I didn't have to put it on all 4 edges. I only needed to put it on 3, but this was my first time doing it. We put the Rice Krispie Treat in the middle. We put the side that we want to put on first. Then we wrap the other side on. Okay. Then we take the edges and pinch those closed, okay? Okay, that's how it looks. You can take your scissors, cut the edges off if you want. And I'm going to probably get the scissors. I had some scissors, but they didn't turn out right. They looked horrible, so I'll have to get probably a more expensive pair. But how this ended up looking, it didn't need those scissors that were like zigzag. It worked out perfectly fine. I'm about to see if I can slice multiple pages. I put it to the edge so I won't have to slice the edges. And then I'm going to see if I can slice multiple pages. Hopefully I don't mess this up. So yeah, we gonna see if this gonna work or not. Let's see. Slice the multiple pages. So I just made sure that I sliced as close as possible without messing up the image. And if I needed to actually cut more of the white portion of the paper off, I just used my scissors and did it. I would rather have more than too little. That's just me. So now that I have everything cut out like how I need it to be, I have my Rice Krispie Treats, my tape, and we're going to do it basically just like we did the chip wrappers. Okay. Fold these in. Fold the bottom one up to line with that crease. Then we're going to bring this one over. Make sure it's nice and pressed down. We're going to take the edges, literally just like we did before, and press them down. See? I'm going to do the same for the other side. Press them down. Now you have the Rice Krispie Treat. Now if you see any of the white, if I get the things, I don't know if I'm gonna go grab them or not. You grab them off, or you could just cut them off. Okay, that's why I gave that little bit of wiggle room, but you want to press these edges down so they don't open. Happy third birthday. Happy third birthday. We loved you. Okay. Like I said, if you see anything you don't want on there, just trim it off, but make sure it's nice and tight. Okay? Easy peasy. Guys, do not understand how happy I am with this, and I'm not gonna do the crinkles or anything because I think this looks good just the way it does. I am so happy with these. I'm so happy to be done. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's take a break and let's take a recap. I did the chip bags, the water bottles, as well as the Rice Krispie Treats. Here's the back of the chip bags. That's with the HP paper. I used the Hammer Mill copy paper for the Rice Krispie Treats. And then I used the koala paper for the water bottles. Okay, so that's what I used so far. I absolutely love the way they look. Let's get into this detail. That HP paper, y'all, that's the bomb.com. That copy paper was not too shabby itself. Everything looked really, really good, and I was absolutely in love with everything so far. Just a close-up of the backs again, just so you guys can see it, but I'm very, very satisfied. Let's get to the chocolate bars. Okay, you guys, let's go ahead and grab these chocolate bars, and we are going to measure this around. So the measurement that I'm using when I wrap it around is actually going to be my height of the image. Okay, so I'm going to be wrapping this around, and this is going to be the height. So how I'm going to make my height is going to be 5.4 inches in height, because I wanted to wrap over, but I don't need a lot of wrap over, and I don't want it to be too short. Now for my width, I'm going to use 6.75 inches in width, because I want to make sure that I have enough space on the edges. At this point, I didn't know if I was going to be crinkling it and using those crinkle scissors, but I decided not to do it, but I didn't know at this point. So I wanted to have enough room on the edges so I can make sure that those crinkle edges right there wouldn't be in the way, and that if I wanted to do something, let's jazz it up, then I would have enough space. I decided not to do it, but that's how I did it. I did use that crafter's tape for this as well. I use so much crafter's tape, okay? And then when I printed the image out, as you guys saw how I designed it inside of Canva, this is how it looked on each paper. Okay, on each page. So like you guys know, I made 40 of these chocolate bars. I am going to be going here and using my paper cutter to go ahead and cut these. I did grab a certain amount of pages. Like I said, this was my dad's and my mom's, so thank y'all. And so I didn't know how it was going to be, but I just played around with it. And the more you do things, the more comfortable you get. I was all set, and now let's get ready. Now everything is all cut out. We are going to make sure it's this side up. We're going to flip it over. I'm going to take the chocolate bar, put it down in the middle. I'm going to take my crafter's tape, and I'm going to put it on this side, and this side. I'm not going to put it on the bottom, okay? So make sure it's on there good. And then I'm going to roll this side up. Okay. I'm going to roll this side over. And then I'm going to press it down. And then press the edges. Bam. Now we see we love you. The birthday boy. Make sure this is pressed down. Make sure this is pressed down. Everything's in the middle. Then we're going to just trim these edges off. So it looks good and professional, okay? Make sure you pinch this down really good. Trim those edges. And we're done. Okay, looks super good. I love it. It's nice, tight. Booyah. There we go. So the more that I do this, the more I found little tips and tricks, etc. So what I started doing was, you see that I wrapped those edges to the front, and then you look how much space I have on the sides now. So now the little sides of the wrapper won't have tape on them. They're completely out of the way, and it makes it a lot easier. If you see, when I did that top left to right, I put another one in the middle, so that can attach to the actual candy bar as well. So I just found little tips and different things. The more that I do them, the more that you do them, you'll find things that work for you. And then here I was able to figure out how to make sure I didn't have to cut a lot of the edges off, because like I said, the more you do things, that repetition, it definitely helps. So I was able to even get to a point where it wasn't any of those white edges on the sides. I'm done. I'm exhausted, but I got it done. Y'all, never probably again. Woo, child. I am beyond proud of how these look. You guys, this was such short notice, so many items, and I was so happy to be done, but I love them all. Okay, just to recap really quickly, for the actual chip bags, I used the HP Professional paper. For the Rice Krispie Treats, I used Hammer Mill copy paper. For the chocolate bars, I used the HP Professional paper. And then for the water bottles, I used the koala paper. Okay, I talked about this earlier in the video, but I know some people like to skip around. This project was absolutely amazing. I had 40 water bottles, 40 chocolate bars, 40 chip bags, and 40 Rice Krispie Treats. It was a lot of work, but I was very, very happy with the outcome of it. I loved everything about it, even though it almost took your girl out, but we did it. So, and that's a wrap. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, holla at your girl. If you have not joined our Facebook group, Crafty Queen Dreamer, please go ahead and join that. We love it over there. Follow me on Instagram, DoDreamOn is the handle. TikTok, DoDreamOn is the handle. And I love y'all. Did y'all know that? I think y'all knew that. Anywho, y'all be safe out there, you hear? Bye.
Thank you for your time. Please like, share, and subscribe. Bye.